The dark truth about life as a gladiator. Spoiler, it was mostly screaming. So, you wake up in ancient Rome. The air smells like sweat, olive oil, and questionable life choices. You're a brand new gladiator. Congratulations, champ. You've officially joined the Roman Empire's deadliest reality show. Forget Survivor. This one doesn't end with a cash prize, just a sword to the face. Your new home? A cramped cell that makes modern studio apartments look luxurious. You're sharing space with rats, other sweaty men, and maybe one guy who wanted to stop talking about how he almost killed a lion once. The food, bread, beans, and occasionally something that might have once been meat, if you squint hard enough. Training starts at dawn. Your coach is a retired gladiator who's basically built like The Rock, but angrier. He yells a lot, calls you names in Latin, and seems way too excited about hitting you with a wooden sword. It's like a gym membership, but instead of abs, you get bruises and trauma. And the crowds! Oh, the crowds love you. They chant, scream, and bet money on who'll get their head chopped off first. Nothing boosts your self-esteem like realizing 50,000 people are cheering for your possible death. Think of it as ancient Instagram, except the likes are thumbs pointing down. Hey, before we dive deeper into this nightmare disguised as entertainment, hit that like button if you'd survive longer than 10 seconds in the arena. Spoiler, you wouldn't. Drop a comment below. What weapon would you pick? Sword, trident, or just run for your life? Let's see who the real gladiators are. Now back to your career. If you're lucky, you might be a secutor, the heavy guy with the big shield and helmet that fogs up every 10 seconds. If not, maybe you're a retiarius, the guy with a net and a trident who basically invented fishing for humans. Either way, your odds of seeing your next birthday are slim to none. And let's talk about armor. Spoiler alert, it's useless. You get a metal helmet that blocks your vision, a random arm guard, and maybe a shin pad if the gods are generous. The rest of you? Exposed like a rotisserie chicken. One wrong move and oops. Your ancient history. Between fights, the Romans treat you like a celebrity. Kids want your autograph, women swoon, and rich men invite you to parties just so they can brag they know that guy who killed 3 Gauls last week. But don't get too comfortable. The same fans who cheer for you today will throw bread at your corpse tomorrow. You might think, at least I'll earn freedom someday. Ah, that's adorable. Sure, a few lucky gladiators got the rudies, a wooden sword symbolizing freedom, but most ended up as decoration for the lion's dinner table. Rome didn't do happy endings. The arena itself? A death machine disguised as architecture. Beneath it, there were trapdoors, cages, and stage lifts, like a nightmare version of Broadway. Sometimes they'd release wild animals mid-fight just for fun. Nothing spices up your battle like a surprise tiger from the floor. And let's not forget the smell. Sweat, blood, and enough body odor to knock out a god. The audience didn't mind. They were too busy snacking on honey cakes and roasted nuts, watching people die for fun. Romans called it entertainment. You might call it therapy needed. Training wasn't all bad, though. You got muscles, scars, and trauma. Oh, wait, we mentioned that. You also learned teamwork. You and your fellow fighters formed tight bonds. Mostly because nobody else wanted to hang out with people who reeked of fear and iron. If you survived enough fights, you became famous. Think ancient influencer status, fans, fame, free food. The only catch? One wrong move, and your followers literally stop following you. Permanently. Now imagine it's fight day. The gate opens, sunlight hits your eyes, and you hear the roar of 50,000 maniacs. Your heartbeat says run, but your feet say you're screwed. You raise your sword, hoping the other guy had a worse breakfast. If you win, congrats. You live to fight another day. If you lose, well, at least you will be remembered as that guy who got owned by a guy with a net. Legacy secured. And remember, every victory means more expectations. The crowd wants blood, drama, and maybe a slow-motion death scene. You're basically an action movie star without a stunt double or a contract renewal. The emperor sometimes decides your fate. Thumbs up means you live. Thumbs down means your head becomes a bowling ball. The worst part? The emperor might change his mind halfway through just to keep things spicy. Gladiator school does indeed teach you that your biggest enemy isn't your opponent, it is boredom. Between fights, there's nothing to do but polish your sword and wonder if reincarnation is real. Spoiler, even if it is, you're probably coming back as a chicken. But hey, at least the uniforms looked cool. The Romans loved aesthetics. Nothing like dying stylishly. And if you were really popular, artists might carve your heroic last moment into a vase, because nothing says immortality like being someone's kitchenware. You might dream of rebellion, of freedom, but Rome didn't play nice. The Spartacus thing? Yeah, that didn't end well. For every gladiator who rose up, 1,000 got nailed to crosses as decoration along the highway. Still, there's something oddly poetic about it. You're trapped in a world that cheers your pain, but you keep fighting. Not for Rome, not for the emperor, but because somewhere deep down you hope your story will outlive you. And guess what? It did. 2,000 years later, people still talk about gladiators. We've made movies, video games, Halloween costumes. You died, but you became pop culture. Kind of a win, right? So, next time you complain about your job, just remember, it could be worse. You could be fighting lions for minimum exposure. And if anyone ever calls you dramatic, tell them, at least I'm not in the Colosseum, Karen.